We have a closing window of opportunity to act and narrowing options. Up to 1 million species face extinction, many within decades, according to the report, and 3/4 of Earth's land surface has been severely altered. A third of ocean fish stocks are in decline, and the rest, barring a few, are harvested at the very edge of sustainability. A dramatic die-off of pollinating insects, especially bees, threatens essential crops valued at $500 billion annually. 2010-year targets adopted in 2010 under the United Nations Biodiversity Treaty, to expand protected areas, slow species and forest loss, and reduce pollution, will, with one or two exceptions, fail badly. Based on an underlying report that draws from 400 experts and weighs in at 1,800 pages, the executive summary has to be vetted line by diplomats, with scientists at their elbow. Historically, conservation biology has focused on the plight of pandas, polar bears, and a multitude of less charismatic animals and plants that humanity is harvesting, eating, crowding or poisoning into oblivion. But in the last 2 decades, that focus has shifted back to us. Agriculture is key. Now we are saying that nature is crucial for food production, for pure water, for medicines, and even social cohesion. And to fight climate change. Forests and oceans, for example, soak up half of the planet-warming greenhouse gases we spew into the atmosphere. If they didn't, Earth might already be locked into an unlivable future of runaway global warming. And yet, an area of tropical forest 5 times the size of England has been destroyed since 2014, mainly to service the global demand for beef, biofuels, soybeans, and palm oil. The recent IPCC report shows to what extent climate change threatens biodiversity, said Lawrence Tubiana, CEO of the European Climate Foundation and a main architect of the Paris Agreement, referring to the UN's Climate Science Panel. Extinctions Hard to See, set up in 2012, the IPBES synthesizes published science for policymakers in the same way the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, IPCC, does on climate. Both advisory bodies feed into UN treaties. But the 1992 Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD, has always been a poor stepchild compared to its climate counterpart, and the IPBES was added as an afterthought, making its authority harder to establish. Biodiversity experts are trying to engineer a Paris moment for nature akin to the 2015 Paris Climate Treaty. The 2018 IPCC report cited by Tubiana added a time imperative, to hold the line at 1.5 degrees Celsius, 2.7 Fahrenheit, the world must reduce CO2 emissions 45% by 2030, and become carbon neutral by mid-century, it concluded. But finding the equivalent for nature has proven difficult. Extinctions are not something the public can easily see, said Watson. A growing number of scientists and NGOs are calling for 30 to 50% of Earth's surface to be sustainably managed by 2030, and more thereafter. But the draft report makes no such concrete proposals. The next opportunity for a visionary plan to be ratified would be the next full meeting in October 2020 of the parties to the Convention on Biodiversity in Kunming, China.